The CNN brain trust has decided to weigh in on Congress giving some attention to what is going on in the WNBA with regard to Caitlin Clark. We're going to take a listen to this, probably about a minute or and a half or so. And then I've got a couple of other clips that are pretty interesting. One I had not seen before, although I think it might be a little old because it's talking about the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark college incident. And another reminder of what Kelsey Plum went through, listening to Kelsey Plum herself, and God bless her because I don't think Kelsey is the brightest bulb, but I think she's a good person. I like Kelsey Plum. But the reason I said that is because she will sometimes, she'll lay it out there and she'll just say the truth, not realizing it's probably something she shouldn't say. So let's take a listen to this. We're going to talk about it. I want to hear what y'all think as well. By the way, thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate all your support. Hope y'all having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Y'all know the drill by now, and I still say it every time because it helps. Like, comment, subscribe, help the channel survive. That almost rhymed. Anyway, let's dig in. We're going to listen to this little bit from ESPN first. We're going to dig into Kelsey Plum and Asia Wilson as well to refute what these clowns are saying. Here we go.
Should the WNBA be doing more to protect Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark? That's the concern from House Republicans who are demanding accountability for hard fouls that they call attacks against Clark. In a letter to the WNBA commissioner, they write, if discrimination or retaliation is occurring and creating a hostile work environment, we support any appropriate investigation by the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, or the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. They
Why she is laughing, but I also found it interesting that she actually read the wording because the wording kind of contradicts what she said. She made it sound like, oh, they're just upset because they think the officiating is not fair to Caitlin Clark. No one's asking for Caitlin Clark to be protected in the way the Hatelins like to insinuate. We just want her treated like everyone else, not targeted, not getting 20% of the flagrant fouls without any consequences, not being officiated differently to where she can't even breathe on another player, but she can get basically punched, grabbed, thrown, hair pulled, and all of that, and no call whatsoever.
add that they are concerned about reports that suggest that the attacks may be racially motivated. Um, it's fascinating that Congress has decided to get involved in the WNBA's internal drama on the court.
I think this is fascinating.
Yeah, I want to point out one thing I know. Sorry, I just stopped it, but I think that's interesting as well. Again, the framing, dismissing it as, oh, what's Congress is just getting in. Why are they getting involved in internal WNBA drama? Did you not pay attention to what you just read? That's the thing. Look, I am not a fan of government getting involved in all things. That being said, they do have legitimate reasons based on the laws that are on the books, right? Hostile work environment, unsafe work environment. Those things are illegal, folks. And I think from everything we've seen, we could all make a case that Caitlin Clark is definitely in a hostile work environment that puts her at risk of serious injury, which would end her career, which means her employment ends. That's a big deal.
Or another word.
Carrie, what do
Another
you
word.
think? What do you think?
I think it's really, really disrespectful in so many different ways because this is from people who, one, haven't watched sports, obviously, have never watched women's basketball. They're probably more so a fan of Caitlin Clark than the actual sport itself or a fan of the Indiana Fever. What has been happening to Caitlin has been happening since the inception of the WNBA. These women play tough. They play hard. It's sports. To suggest that it is intentional or that people are being racist towards her leaves out a long history of women who've supported this league and started this league who were black. It's very disrespectful to them, the women who are the foundation of the league. 70% of
Okay, first of all, nowadays That's one of those words. When you're going to justify or something or deflect a solid argument by talking about disrespect, I think you're a clown. I think you don't have the IQ to have a substantive debate. That is one of those words now used to try and dismiss your argument because they do not want to have the conversation because they can't have the conversation because it's going to make them uncomfortable because they don't have the receipts. There is nothing disrespectful about the government doing its job. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I mean, first of all, there are probably a lot of these cases in terms of, hostile work environments and investigation and stuff that go on all the time that we never even hear about because they're not involving anyone that's going to make the news. So, how is it disrespectful to players that played 30 years ago? That doesn't even make any sense at all. But like I said, CNN doesn't usually send its best when they have these conversations. They're not prepared for them.
The people in the league are LGBTQIA and black. And so they literally are sitting here thinking, well, why now, because we've been playing the game that we've been playing, are people demanding that we be investigated for doing what we're supposed to do? Can you imagine going to work every single day trying to do your job, but fear that you're going to be attacked and get death threats?
With Caitlin.
And see, right away, the whole thing is framed as disrespect and victim. First of all, the foundings had nothing to do with it. They didn't actually build the league because the league has lost money for 27 years. No one gave a crap about watching them. And then, boom, we're going to flip it. We're going to flip that switch and go right to the Alyssa Thomas thing and say, oh, wait, no. All these women attacking Caitlin Clark, they're the actual victims. As if Caitlin Clark never gets any threats at all. It's absolutely absurd. In fact, hold on one second. Pause for a second because I just realized I had this on my phone. I didn't know I was going to talk about this, but this was a tweet where someone said, let me make sure. Wait, let me make sure I have it. All right, here we go. It takes very little pressure to crush someone's windpipe. So F you, going back and forth with that Alyssa Thomas fan. Alyssa Thomas fan responded, wish she had used a little more pressure, maybe next time. Okay, think about that. And then I've got one more that's really straight up. It just says, someone ought to unalive that bitch, Caitlin Clark. But yeah, it's Alyssa Thomas and everyone else who is the victim, because of course they are.
Clark is that she's a superstar. She's great at what she does. However, the attention that she's getting from Republicans and from government seems to be exclusively because she is white.
That's the only
I
reason.
mean,
I
I
make her a culture
I just don't
war.
understand.
The reason, folks, this is 100% only because she's white. Here's a wild thing that these people will never understand. Nothing would change for me if Caitlin Clark was not white. I'm a sports fan. I love my sports. Y'all know I'm a lifelong Eagles fan. I don't remember. Well, I guess we had Carson Wentz briefly, and Nick Foles rescued us for a Super Bowl. But I mean, Randall Cunningham, Rodney Peete, Vince Young, Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Jalen Hurts. I mean, none of those guys are white. They're freaking all quarterbacks, man, for the Philadelphia Eagles in the last 30 years. Ride or die with every single one of them, my friends. That's just the way it. Oh, I forgot. Who did I forget? No, I said Rodney Peete, didn't I? Okay, just want to make sure. So yeah, we've got the absolute absurdity of we're going to frame all of this, and you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. We're going to frame all of this of, oh, it's just because Caitlin Clark is white. Forget about all of the flagrant fouls. Forget about the things that I just read to you. If we want to talk about threats, okay? To say that Caitlin Clark is not targeted by players in the league is absolutely absurd. Now take a listen to this. This is about just under a minute long. A couple NBA players talking with Asia Wilson. Really pay attention as we get to the end when Asia chimes in, agreeing with what the guys were saying.
Question: the mix-up between Angel and Caitlin Clark during the Final Four. It happens all the time in the men's game.
Right.
It happens still a lot in your guys' game,
Yeah.
but it was made such a big deal on that stage. What was your guys' take as pros?
I was laughing.
Every day.
Honestly.
It's a part of the
Shit
game.
happen every day, B.
I was like, if we're overreacting at this, good lord,
Crazy.
where's our game
We
going?
say worse things to white boys playing basketball when we play.
100%.
Particularly you.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Particularly me. All NBA players go harder on white boys on the court.
They all sound kind of racist, don't they?
That's
I
just
feel
how
like
it's always.
that is like
Even
the
Larry Bird.
unwritten
Larry
rules.
Bird got guarded by a white guy. He was like, "Y'all don't have any brothers?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Larry Bird said.
He felt
So,
disrespected.
Yeah, he felt disrespected.
I feel like that's like the unwritten Hooper rule. So no, I was laughing. I was like, it's never that deep.
not
It's
right.
never
Ever.
that deep. But I guess
Unwritten Hooper rule to target the white players. Pretty interesting stuff, Asia Wilson. We all remember the conversation Asia had with Kelsey Plum while at the one of the Yukon games in the tournament a couple years ago, basically saying to Kelsey Plum's face, "You're only here in this league because you're white." Well, let's take a listen to Kelsey Plum herself when she entered the league, and we know Caitlin Clark came with a whole lot more, which is why it's been ratcheted up.
But you say you're if you would have been the number 2 pick or 3 pick as opposed to 1, how do you think that would have affected you, staying in the league through struggles, or not at all?
I mean, I would have been still in the league because I'm a dog. Like, I would have found a way. I would have found a way.
No question.
I definitely think the expectations of being a number 1 pick are brutal, especially if you have any type of height or like media coming out of college. They're just brutal. And then I don't think it helps being a 5'8" white girl coming into the league with 85% black women that want to take your head off. Like, just straight up, right? Like, that's just what it is. And I didn't know. Me, happy-go-lucky, walking into the locker room like, hey. Like, I didn't know. I learned the hard way. But that's real. That's what it is. And I think that it would have been better in some ways because I would have been a little bit more under the radar. But in other ways, I definitely think that, having that type of struggle and adversity has prepared me for the moment I'm in now.
So let's see if we have Kelsey Plum correct. She came in as the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history. None of these players came in with a tenth of what Caitlin Clark came in with in terms of both expectations but also popularity. But for the WNBA, Kelsey Plum came in with a lot of hype and a lot of popularity. And did you hear what she said? She laid it straight out. 5'8" white girl. All the black girls wanted to take her head off. So you can imagine what it is like for Caitlin Clark, but these low IQs at CNN want to flip the switch, and they're going to tell you that it's all racially motivated the other way. You heard Asia Wilson and the guys talking. Doesn't seem like it's the other way. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see if this goes anywhere. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you later.